Guys, how to do the snake shot. Arguably the coolest shot in table tennis. Here's how to do it in 3 steps. Step 1 involves timing. You need to time when the ball will be below the table when your opponent can't see the ball, so you can add spin and misdirection and confuse your opponent. You also need a time when it's the right shot to do a snake shot. Not every shot you'll be able to do. It needs to be a high bouncing shot with not much spin, so you can add spin of your own. And it needs to be preferably in the middle. That way you can easily let the ball drop, wait for it to go below the table, out of the side of the opponent to add spin. That brings us to step 2, which is the contact from ball to bat. Step 2, adding spin. This is the most important step, as you'll be able to create spin, confuse your opponent, and ultimately win the point. For the snake shot, all the spin comes from your wrist. To create the most spin, you want to contact under the ball to create side spin with a swift wrist movement, like a snap. You don't want to use your whole arm, you just want to use your wrist. That way you'll be able to create the most spin. You want to hold the racket like you're doing a normal forehand or backhand, snap your wrist underneath the ball and get the most spin as possible. A key component of step 2 also involves hitting the ball high like a lob with the spin. That way it gives the opponent time to come down, they'll be in position to whack it and it swings out the other way where they're not expecting, and it'll be an even better shot. A good way of practicing creating spin is doing this.
Nice.
Step 3 is misdirection. This is where the snake shot gets its name. After you've let the ball drop, you've added the side spin with a flick of the wrist, the misdirection comes in and you confuse your opponent. This is the hardest part of the snake shot and takes a lot of practice. The misdirection occurs after you've contacted the ball and added the side spin. You're going to flick your wrist immediately back in the opposite direction. It also helps to lift your arm even further to visually confuse your opponent. Remember, your opponent hasn't seen you contact the ball and add side spin as it's below the table. All they're seeing is your arm come up, confusing them as they think you put spin on that way, making the ball go that way, when in fact you've actually put on side spin, making the ball go that way.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Like so. Again, to practice the misdirection, you want to just practice flicking the ball with your wrist and snapping in the other direction. Once you've gotten comfortable with that, you can practice doing bigger shots with even more misdirection.
Nice.
Keep practicing that and then try it out in an actual game. You can also do the snake on your backhand, which most people do not expect. So if you pull that off on your backhand, it'll be even better. Same principle as on your forehand. Do the initial stroke like this, under the table, and then pull out like that. So it looks like you're cutting out like this when really you've added spin like this. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you want to see a serve tutorial on the side spin serve, then click right here. I hope you can pull off the snake and fool one of your opponents. Please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.